Good evening everyone and welcome along to League of Europe. We are here tonight for F1 22 action. It is Season 9, it's Division 1, it's round 16 of the Championship as we take in the Belgian Grand Prix. Of course, from the Circuit de Spa, Francorchamps, the longest track on the F1 calendar. My name is James Head. Delighted to be taking to the stream, of course, as always, on this fine Saturday evening. And hopefully you are all doing well after the celebrations, of course, here in the UK today from the coronation. We could coronate, potentially, one of two drivers here tonight as a potential champion. Certainly one of them could manage that tonight in terms of the championship standings. We'll have a look at the championship standings in due course. Hopefully you are all doing well, though, there in the chat. Campbell leading the way on 196 points. Sally still in second on 180. Cucumber there in third on 178. And in fact, yeah, they are the correct points. I thought they weren't updated from last week for some reason. But, yeah, Cucumber there in third. Basically, Campbell needs to outscore Cucumber, ideally, by 10 points tonight. So, first and third, basically, is the actual ploy. But remember, I believe it is a sprint race next week in Brazil. So, I think it could mean we go down to the final race of the season in Brazil, which is going to be very fascinating indeed. But Campbell does lead the way on 196 points. Sally there in second on 180. Of course, if Cucumber DNFs and Campbell wins, then the championship's over and done with. Coming into tonight, Alp there in fourth on 129. Nathan there in fifth on 115. Yildirim in sixth on 111. Rocco seventh on 106. Then Wouter in eighth on 99. Gary in ninth on 77. And then Pease in 10th on 68 points. Remember what happened last week, of course, in Jeddah, in an absolute fantastic race once again in Jeddah. It was, of course, Cucumber who came out on top, and Cucumber really had to fight hard with the Ferraris, just getting that strategy a little bit wrong from their perspective. Campbell there in second, of course, last week, and then in third, of course, was Mr. Kivior Nathan, otherwise known as G. Russell these days, here in League of Europe. So hopefully Ferrari might just try and pull out a bit of a masterstroke. In terms of the constructors, however, now that can be wrapped up coming into tonight. I believe there is a maximum amount of points of 96, I believe, available. 96 or 97 points available coming into tonight. So that means the Ferraris, as long as they outscore Mercedes, no matter how many points they outscore by, as long as they don't lose the gap of about 30 points, then Ferrari will be crowned Constructors' Champions here tonight in Belgium. And that means Ferrari is on 311 points coming into tonight. Mercedes in second on 242. Haas there in third on 179. AlphaTauri fourth on 162. Aston Martin there in fifth on 151. Williams in sixth on 150, so it's getting extraordinarily close potentially for third there as well. McLaren in seventh on 124. Red Bull eighth on 115. And Alpine in ninth on 106. Alfa Romeo in 10th on 104 points. And that is how the land lies as we come into the Belgian Grand Prix. Of course, 7 kilometres circuit length means we are going to get some very close net racing around a track that is synonymous for crashes, synonymous as well for great overtaking as well. Remember that 4 wide in 2019 around here with Hamilton, Vettel going side by side? Perez was in there as well in the Force India. Yeah, I remember that, and it was an absolute brilliant race, I've got to say. Hopefully we might have the same scenes tonight. Hopefully, though, we don't have any issues in qualifying. Now, I know Nathan has had, I saw his post a little bit earlier on in the Discord. Apparently you can get stuck on this track skill, which I never thought would be the case, but then again, it's a Codemasters game. Nothing really surprised me for the Codemasters game these days, but apparently you can get stuck on track coming out of the Campus chicane, coming to the left-hander of 13 just before Campus corner, and then Stavolo, of course, the Fania chicane, I mean, is the chicane in question. But we are now getting going, it seems, into qualifying. Hopefully, as I say, everyone is doing well. Montana saying hello, my favourite Head. Hope you're doing well. My favourite Montana there in the chat as well. Hope you're doing very well. And Juliana Dos Santos there in the chat as well, saying hello. Good evening, my friend. Hope you're doing very well indeed. And hope everyone is doing well on this Saturday evening here for League of Europe Division 1, which I really hope that we get to see the crowning at least of the Constructors' Champions tonight. I want to see the drivers, though, go in too, as Ghost Falcon has left the session already before going into qualifying. So I'm not sure if that is going to result in a potential restart. However, that could, because it could cause a few issues in terms of desync potentially, so the Slovenian's connection has gone downhill. pretty much like his day, I think, going forward, maybe here tonight. But we are about to get going. Nathan has said, oh, apparently they have won Constructors because there's no Mercedes drivers, and that in fact is right. So Ferrari are now Constructors champions on default, basically. They still need to mathematically, of course, take the points. If Campbell and Nathan DNF, of course, the points will remain the same. Ghost Falcon saying he is trying. I'm going to try and mute my mic a little bit because that is coming through very loud on my end. There we go, that's a little bit better. Hopefully you can hear me better now as well. No Elgato or anything to try and run through here tonight. But the first man out on track, as Gary has left the session as well. Not sure if there may be a few connection issues. Pease is retiring from the session as well. I wonder if we're getting a potential restart. Get confirmation of that for now, but Packer and Campbell the first that out on top. Ghost Falcon has managed to rejoin. Gary, I think he's struggling in terms of his Irish internet connection. I know they've had thunderstorms over there actually in Ireland, so that might be the cause for him. Packer is the first man out on track, the American, who has had a very good consistent amount of results recently. So the Alpine looking to try and score in terms of the racing action here tonight. Hopefully Packer will be there, I think, within the top 12 at least, maybe even in the top 10. He does like Belgium, has done well around here before, so we'll have to see what Packer can do, of course. Campbell there, of course, second out on track. He is the championship leader coming into tonight, so the pressure is well and truly on. He mentioned last week in the interviews that Belgium is not necessarily his best track. Either he delivers and wins, or he just doesn't deliver and then ends up out of the points and maybe even DNFing out of the race as well. But Campbell is there out on track. He's the second man out on track as well. You'll bring potential outside potentially for pole position as well. The Relentless Man does enjoy it around here in Belgium. But we will have to wait and see what the drivers are going to be doing. Set us off compound tyres, everyone. It's not the Q1, Q2, Q3 format as I've been used to in recent weeks. But we are here, of course, for 18 minutes worth of qualifying, and Packer is going to be the first man out on track coming in towards the bus stop chicane. Packer now comes through. Oh, bit of an overcorrection there to the bus stop chicane. Doesn't want to be doing that on the exit of the corner. But Packer now opening up his lap on the run down towards turn 1. We'll turn up the timing tower just to see what Packer does in terms of this lap. Coming now down into the right-hander of turn number 1. Nicely done indeed. Division 3, by the way, is also live. So if you do want to catch up with Division 3 action, debutant in the commentary box in Upside Nova, who I know very, very well, and Old School is there alongside him as well in the commentary box. Vice versa if they are swapping the roles, as Packer now comes down the Camel Straight on the run now down in towards Lake Holm chicane. 29.8 through the first sector, so not too bad actually from Packer. He's now in box through the Lake Holm chicane. Adam Malmedy at turn number 7. And then down the hill in towards Bruxelles, of course. Bruxelles named after, of course, the capital of Belgium, which is Brussels. If you didn't know that, you need to spice up on your geography skills. Packer now coming in towards Jackie X corner through the left hand, and now the F123 trailer, which was released in midweek, does suggest that we are going to get the current format for the Belgian Grand Prix circuit. However, that gameplay is not finalised, so I would take that with a bit of a pinch of salt. If it is, then we get to enjoy this lovely track once again, as Packer now comes through the right-hander of the Fania chicane, through the left-hander of the Fania chicane, runs wide there on the X of the curb. Nicely done actually from Packer, through the middle sector, through Campos. Look a bit scrappy this, 14.8 in the middle sector. So not a bad middle sector there at all from the American. He now comes in toward the left-hander of Blanchimont, which is the fastest corner on the circuit, and you can already see it's the fastest corner out on circuit. 200 miles an hour coming through there, as well as Cops, by the way, which is going to be apparently flat out on the new game, so I've heard. Packer now in toward the bus stop chicane, 18 and 19, pretty much a lap over and done with, and we'll see what Packer will do on the run toward the line. Bit of a snaky moment on the exit, but gets the job done. Currently out on top of Campbell, look quicker on the graphics. Certainly look quicker out on track as well. Campbell there out on top, 42.6. Packer there in second. I think Verstappen was one of the last ones to go on a lap. G. Russell, Mr. QBO Nathan is on a lap. He's coming now through Pouon, through the left-hander. One of the fastest corners again out on track, as Rick now splits the pair of Campbell and Packer. So good luck there by Rick to go into second. Lively outside of potential for a top 10 finish here tonight as well. Now Nathan comes in towards this middle sector. Remember, 14.8 from Packer in that middle sector, 14.5 from QVO Nathan, which suggests to me he's going to go around more Rocco Alp sort of area, I think, maybe in terms of this lap, as he now comes in toward the left-hander of Blanchimont once again. But the Ferraris, on default, have been awarded the constructor standings. No Mercedes here tonight. Jensen, of course, practicing, I believe, Freshborn Esports Challengers, which I'm not surprised in. Hopefully he's doing well, potentially in terms of his practice there. Oh, is that Nathan gets very squirrely coming out the final corner on the run to the line. And that lap cost him, and he actually goes slower than Packer, which shouldn't have been the case. Should have went quicker. Killer is on a lap as well, 14.8. His Cucumber goes to the top now with a 42.4, so good lap there by Cucumber. Could sneak in towards the 141s potentially, the high 141s, maybe 41.9, 41.8 if you're very, very lucky. Killer coming through the final corner, hopefully for the Killer Queen, goes into 7th. Look at that, if it's a coronation joke and a queen joke as well. Killer there in 7:43 flat. Not a bad lap there at all from him. But 6 minutes gone in the qualifying session. Cucumber out on top, Campbell second, Rocco there in third. Alp there in 4th position early on. Now, Alp mentioned, I think, in chat last week, there was a yellow flag, McLaren just backing up, I think, maybe ran out of fuel behind him. Alp there in 4th position. He had an absolute shocking start once again. He was on top quite comfortably last week, but he has been mentioned he hasn't been practicing as much on this current game, so that just worries me, and that I think has proved 42.9, 4th position, not a bad lap there at all, but it's not the sort of time trial, sort of lap times that we normally see from Alp where he absolutely thrived. Belgium might be one of his weaker tracks potentially. He's 500 clear with Slash there as well. Slash doing a good job there in 5th, Verstappen there in 6th. Wouter has also retired out of the session, and that is, I believe, in the pit lane. Or is that coming in the pits? I think that might be one or either or, not sure. Wouter, I think, has got a qualifying ban, if I'm not mistaken. There was also, I believe, looking at the stewards' reports, just confirm the stewards' reports actually from last week, which I didn't go through at the start of the stream. There's only one, Gary and Verstappen, causing a collision. 3 licence points and an additional 5 licence points for no footage for Mr. KBL Gary, who's there in 11th and sitting in the pit lane because he doesn't want to settle up and doesn't want to be absolutely mullered out on track. Montana there saying Cucumber went across the Dutch border in turn number 1 and still got P1. Yeah, track limits around here coming through turn number 1 and coming through actually, I believe, turn number 13, which is the exit of the chicane. That is being monitored, I believe. Turn 1, I know isn't, I don't think. The track limits, I think, within the steward's report suggested to me, at least, that track limits are being monitored at turn 4, which is the exit of Radion, turn 10, turn 14, which is the corner I've been mentioning, and turn 19, which is the bus stop, exit of the bus stop chicane. So those are the only track limits. Turn 1, if you've got away with it, and I haven't seen that lap from Cucumber, and if you got away with it on the stream, then you get away with it full time, I think. So, not too bad at all. Ghost Falcon, by the way, is the first man now to go on to another lap. Primoz Miklavicic, potentially. Out on track he is. He comes now in towards the final couple of corners. And now embarks on his lap. We're kind of just beginning to build up the circuit there slightly. Cucumber, Campbell, Rocco there currently the top 3 in qualifying here. As I say, I hope you're doing well on this fine Saturday evening. We've got Miami Grand Prix qualifying to come at 9 o'clock UK time as well. I'm excited for that. I'll be listening to that on the radio here in the UK. Ghost Falcon comes through left-hand return number 4 at Radion. Now through Kennel Corner on the run down the Kennel Straight. That's actually not classed as a corner, but it is known as Kennel Corner. And then we come down in towards the Lacombe chicane. 29.9 in the first sector, respectful there from Ghost Falcon. Purple first sector there. But judging by how he's taken coming through Lacombe and at the exit of Mulready, I wouldn't say this is a good lap actually coming in from the man who is currently there in 14th position as it stands out on track. Coming through as well, looking at Ghost Falcon now coming through Q1, not looking at a bad lap whatsoever. I'm just trying to pick up on who might have had a qualifying ban. I believe there was a qualifying ban for Mash Jr., the IRT man, who hasn't turned up this season, which I think is no surprise, because he's now got AWOL 10 licence points, and he's not here again, so that's another 10 licence points, which means, you know what, if you're listening to the stream, you may as well not race, you may as well just turn around and say, oh, I've got a BS excuse for not turning up. May as well turn around and say that. Ghost Falcon, by the way, is still on the slab. I'm just waffling on about anything at this stage, but Falcon is on a lap. The cloud is beginning to build over the circuit just from where turn number 1 is, the exit of turn number 1. Comes now through the final couple of corners. On the run to the line now, the Slovenian. Maybe going toward the bottom end of the field, and he does. 43.3. Not a bad lap. not a quick lap either. Cucumber the one on top. Campbell's on a lap, coming now through the middle sector, the Scotsman. Potentially the first ever Scotsman actually to be crowned Division 1 champion, of course, here this season. Campbell in the middle sector, 14.1, and handily, there's his teammate ahead of him, giving him a bit of slipstream. 14.1, so Campbell's already up in terms of his lap time. Cucumber there out on top, Campbell there in second, Ruckle there in third. But if they really pull this off, this could be used all the way up towards the bus stop chicane. Pulls out to the left-hand side. Campbell will gain that extra 3, maybe even 4 tenths per second coming into the bus stop chicane. As long as he doesn't F this up coming in towards turn 19, he will try and get P1 and maybe take it to Cucumber, and he does. 42.1, found 5 tenths per second. Cucumber's just starting up on his lap. Ruckle's on the lap as well, and Alp is only 4 thousandths up through the first sector, so we'll watch on board with Alp at this stage. The QVO man potentially a favourite for full position. I think he is the next one actually to come across the line. I believe that is Slash behind him out on track, if I'm not mistaken. Alp though coming out through the middle sector. Here's the middle sector, 4 tenths up, so not bad actually from QVO man. Coming out through, very tight line, actually taking my line coming through there. You've got to try and get a little bit tight, just save a little bit of ground on the inside. I know I'm talking about like horse racing terms there, but honestly, it does save you ground. It saves you about a tenth per second. Out into the bus stop chicane. Oh, as we flick on board with Rick by accident, coming out through the final couple of corners. And now the Turk American on the run to the line and goes third. Lost a bit of time actually in that final sector. Cucumber a tenth and a half up, but invalidated. Must have invalidated coming through the Lafania chicane, coming through the middle sector, I'd imagine, or coming out of the exit of Pouon potentially. There's a Ferrari round as well in the middle sector. That is not. That's Campbell. That's slipped out in fact. I thought it was Mr. Nathan, but it's not. It's Nathan. In fact, now it comes towards the end of the middle sector. We'll see what his middle sector is like. 14.7. Not too bad. Not too good either. He's looking maybe to put Campbell out on top more than anything. This might be the Ferrari Porsche qualifying. Nathan doesn't really enjoy this track either, so coming further down the field might not be the best thing in the world, to be honest. But Nathan now coming in towards the final couple of corners through the bus stop chicane. 18 and 19. I think that was a McLaren either. Very slow. Oh, and Nathan's out in the wall. Crashes coming through the final quarter, and Nathan is out of the session. Oh, goodness me. I was about to say, before that happened, I believe Rocco had no front wing there coming in the pit lane. Might have been my eyesight, but I believe Rocco had no front wing coming in the pit lane there. But Nathan, out of the session, means Campbell's now out on top. Cucumber there in second, Alp there in third. Nathan there will only qualify P10. He's got Gary and Yulbeam behind him, yet to set laps. Goes Falcon as well behind him, yet to set Ontra's second lap. But judging by the cloud cover beginning to build over the circuit, this cloud cover is going to really begin towards the end of the laps. Killer, by the way, improved. Alp also improved their third and fourth position, so not that bad laps there at all from him. Jav there in the comment section saying not a bad lap from Kooky. Yeah, I mean, if this was Kooky Games, I would have expected better, if I'm going to be honest. I would have expected them to be, Campbell, Cucumber, Alp, that sort of area, given the way he's progressed on PC recently. And Montana saying, yes, Spinella. Spinella there for Nathan. Not the first time we've seen that all season, of course. Not the last time we may see that either. Verstappen is on the lap as well. QVL man in 8th position. 4 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock to go. Campbell from Cucumber and then Alp there currently rounding off the top 3 as it stands. Hope you're all doing well, as I say. Division 3 has restarted another stream, so if you are doing Division 3 commentary, or if you're wants to watch Division 3, you can go and watch that live now. I believe it is Upside Nova and Mr. Old School, who is in the commentary box there tonight. Jess is missing in action. And that also means if you are a fan of PSGL and you're a fan of top tier PSF1 action, yours truly will be taken to the action on Monday live on the PSGL channel, which I'm very excited for. I'll be joined of course by Mr. Aidan Carter in the commentary box. Mr. Carl Mensless to the guys here in League of Europe. But I'm excited for that. I'm also excited potentially for the championship being 10. For the constructors at least, drivers may not be so, given though Campbell's out on top, Cucumber in second. Cucumber needs to find something. Hasn't got a teammate to lie on either, so Cucumber needs help. And he needs Montana to step in and try and set a lap for him, quite frankly. Verstappen though now in towards turn number 1. Do the right-hander of turn number 1 at the source. Alfa Romeo coming down the right-hand side there, I believe is Rick coming on an out lap, coming out down the hill in towards my favourite two corners on the track. This is a Rouge, and that's Radion actually at the top of the hill, through goals Verstappen, through Radion, down the Campbell Straight, on the run now down with a bit of Dutch corner, bit of a Ferrari slipstream on the right hand side as well, cheeky from Verstappen. And actually sees a mark, 29.6 in the first sector, so he's up there in the first sector. Not the quickest we've probably seen through there, but look at the low-level control coming through the corners there, through Lake Coleman, then through Malmedy. Very, very short, much short-shifting, low downforce coming on the car. Verstappen trying to minimise the traction, I think, coming on the exit, which has just cost him a little bit of time here and there. This is not a bad lap at all, actually, from Verstappen. Coming in toward the left-hand, the Cucumber's just starting up on a lap. He's in the final sector. So he's going to be next, I think, along with Ghost Falcon, who's just started up on a lap, I believe, as well. Verstappen now coming through the Vanya chicane. 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go on the clock. Campbell, Cucumber, Alp still your top three. Verstappen through the middle sector is improving. 2 tenths up in the middle sector. 14.7. Not going to be going Campbell, Cucumber sort of area with this lap. This is going to be more / killer, that sort of area, I think, in terms of this lap. But it's a looking very neat lap, I'm going to say, from the Dutchman. As I say, coming out of Lake Coleman, Malmedy, he just looked like he lost a little bit of time. Apart from that, it's pretty much a spot-on lap. Coming in toward the bus stop chicane, the left-hander now, turn 19, on the run toward the line then with Verstappen. Shall go, I think, behind Killer, and he does. Behind Killer. Goes there in 5th position, Slash there in 6th. He just started up on a lap as well. Pick up on board with Cucumber. His first sector is 29.9. Really? Wow. 29.9 in the first sector from Cucumber. A little bit down on what I was expecting from him. Not electric through the first sector whatsoever. He made a mistake coming out of Malmedy as well. Coming through what Jackie X corner, he was perfect coming through there. Absolutely spot on. Coming out through the left-hander of Puon. We'll pick on ball with the on-track cameras. On-track cameras, I believe, are going to be different slightly as well on the new game. It's going to reflect more real life. I know they're changing the colour gradation as well. That has been mentioned in the information. If you do want to catch that, as Campbell's retired from the session in the pit lane. Actually, he's crashed coming out on track, coming through the right-hander of Malmedy. Cucumber responds, middle sector 14.1. So I'm not sure what he's eaten for breakfast in that middle sector, but it's certainly looking good coming through the middle sector now in towards Blanchimont. So Cucumber, currently a 10th and a half up. Need to find another 10th and a half ideally, but Campbell was so strong in the final sector, the slipstream train was in operation. That might just get him pole position. Cucumber, though, going to threaten that on the run toward the line. Here comes Cucumber. Is he done enough? No, goes second. Campbell is happy with that. He's out on top. Out there, a 10th down through the first sector, but he's slightly quicker than Cucumber in the first sector. Slash there going 4th there as well on his lap. Watch on ball with Alp, though. The qualifying has now ended, so Campbell, Cucumber, Alp currently your top three. Alp coming out through the left-hander of Jackie X. On the run down and towards Puon, not looking too bad whatsoever in terms of this lap. Remember, he was a 10th down on 29.8 in the first sector, but he was 10th up on Cucumber, what he was setting in the first sector. Out now coming through the Vanya chicane once again. Cucumber beginning to build up the circle. That's the McLaren of Rocco spinning right in front of action there of Alp. Middle sector on par with Cucumber, about a 10th and a half off in that middle sector, but he is on par currently in terms of this lap. So Alp is not looking too bad here. I don't think he's going to threaten Campbell for P1. I mean, if he does, it'll be absolute godsend, I think. Ideally, he would have needed his teammate once again. But Alp now coming in towards the final couple of corners. Coming in towards turns 18 and 19 at the bus stop chicane. Hard onto the brakes. Coming out through the left-hander 19. Rick's already finished his lap as well. There's an Alpine spinning across the line. Alp goes third, remains there, but he did improve on his lap time and only got within 300ths of a second of Cucumber, so not a bad lap there at all. That Alpine, I believe, was Ghost Falcon. Actually, Ghost Falcon's lost his front wing out on track in a crash. Gary's invalidated. Killer is a 10th and a half up, so Killer could even trouble Slash here, maybe for P4. Coming now in toward the final couple of corners. Up there saying, about to say something in the chat, I'm not sure what he's going to say, but Killer coming in toward the final couple of corners, on the run toward the line with the QVR man, and goes ahead of Slash. So good improvement there from Killer. I think that is everyone, though, from the end of this qualifying session. Indeed it is. And Campbell out on top. Cucumber there in second. Alp there in third. Alp saying as well in the chat, look, it's my mistake, I confused with someone else on an outlet, but it's not okay to attempt to make me out later. Okay, a little bit of controversy going on there, it seems, between Alp and Mr. Primoz Miklevicic. So, that'll be interesting. Not sure what that is all about, potentially. Not sure if there was a block maybe on a lap. Sure, if Montana is in the party with Alp, he will be able to speak up on their behalf. But Campbell out on top, Cucumber there in second, Alp there in third. Not a bad lap there at all. Peas and Mitre, I think, had qualifying bans, if I'm not mistaken. They didn't get lap times in. Yilbeam as well. Down in 13th position. Not a strong section whatsoever from him. Peas calling everyone criminals there in the Discord chat, which is really no surprise, given that he's P14. He wants to try and throw all the tirades out before he gets into the race, rather than after. Campbell out on top, Cucumber there in second, Alp there in third. Montana is only with Cucumber in the party as well, which he has reported there in chat. But we wait on that. Cucumber just retiring there, and it is Campbell out on top by nearly a tenth and a quarter. From Cucumber there in second, Alp there in third, a tenth and a half covering the top three. Killer there in fourth, bit of an underdog performance, I think, along with Slash there in fifth, Verstappen there in sixth, Rockel there in seventh with Gary in eighth, Rick there in ninth. Goes Fulcon ran off the top 10. Please Alp doesn't have to worry about him at the start. Packer there in 11th, Nathan there in 12th. He might be the one to watch out for, along with Yilbeam there in 13th. And then Peas and Wouter 14th and 15th position there at the back of the field. Both not 10 lap times. Believe Wouter, as I mentioned, had a qualifying ban along with Peas. I'm led to believe that, certainly. I was looking in the chat and I couldn't find anything, so I'm guessing that was the case. Peas also saying, no BS being slow to join the lobby today. Absolutely unbelievable. Ghost Falcon, yeah, oh, actually, it was that Alpine that we saw coming across the line. Ghost Falcon, in the end, he thought the session had ended, so he let off all controls, and he broke his front wing right in front of Alp, I believe. So that is what's happened there in qualifying between them both. I mean, there's the right thing to do. I think that's just the wrong thing to do. And I mean, if qualifying had ended, we would have gone straight from the lobby screen into the results screen. So drivers need to be aware of that. They need to have that little bit of mentality about them. They haven't got that mentality. They, I'm afraid, are going to struggle here in League of Europe going forward. But here in Belgium, we go for 7 kilometres worth of racing every lap for 22 laps around here, of course, in Belgium. Let me know your top 3 there in the chat as well. Clearly, drivers want to get on with things straight away, knowing that the Miami Grand Prix is going to be coming up at 9 o'clock. Qualifying, that is, of course, for Miami, which I'm going to be enjoying in the comfort of my own home, watching it as well on Sky, which is very good. So I cannot wait for that to happen as we now get in towards qualifying, from qualifying into the formation lap. Formation lap now about to get going. And I'll predict my top 3 at the end of this formation lap. Formation lap is now about to begin. And everyone is now on a set of interesting. They're not on a set of interesting. They're on a set of hard compounded tyres. But the interesting thing, as you can tell, is that man there, Cucumber. Set of medium compounded tyres off the start. He did this last week. It worked. Does he go for broke once again and go for the correct strategy? Now, around here, Belgium, on this game and on this track, mediums, I'd be very surprised if they get beyond 9 or 10 laps before you come in the pit lane. You'll be putting in before the halfway stage, because the way the mediums actually wear around this track, set of hards are going to get comfortably lap 14, lap 15, I think. Mediums will only last 8 or 9 laps before they really start to go off the cliff, and when they go over the cliff edge, you really begin to lose the time. So Campbell's there within 2 seconds of Cucumber, and Cucumber extends his stint 2 or 3 laps more. Campbell's going to be right on top of him in those 2 or 3 laps, because the nature of the track is very high wearing, and the mediums do struggle around here. Even though they're better tied to be on, I would say, in the second half, they're going to wear early in the race, especially from Cucumber's perspective, him being the only man out on track. So, might seem like a good call short term. Longer term, I think he's going to struggle. And remember, when he gets onto that set of hards, he's got to hope that there's no safety, that there's a safety car really in this race to try and come back from. If there's no safety car early on in this race, and if there is a safety car come lap 8, lap 9, Jones could necessarily go from a set of hards to a set of mediums as well. So he's got to be aware of that potentially, but who knows? Who knows? It is an inspired call by the 4 times Division 1 champion of NSX Montana, being the engineer as he is. Yeah, I tend to think short term, don't get me wrong, I think it's the better strategy. I think he's going to absolutely fly off the line. But longer term, from those lap 8, lap 9 in, if drivers start to come in the pit lane from there, on that set of hards, Cucumber's going to be in a little bit of trouble. So we'll have to wait and see. My top 3, by the way, we're now getting in towards the final couple of corners for all the drivers out on track, which means my top 3 for tonight is... just because I want to see the championship fight go into the final round of the season. Cucumber for the win. Campbell there for second. And for third, I am going to go for Nathan down there in P12. You might laugh at me, but I'll have to say you're not laughing now, are you? Campbell there out on top. Cucumber alongside him. We'll have a look on board with Cucumber off the line. Fodder lights now going off in the gantry here in Belgium. Round number 16. And it is. Lights on the way we go. And Cucumber gets a very good start. Campbell's good off the line as well. And he will have to come across in towards someone to try and defend into the corner. There's already a bit of contact in towards turn number 1 as Cucumber tries to go all the way around the outside, but he doesn't. And Campbell leads through turn number 1. There's a spinner in the background. A bit of desync there in the background as well. Pease, Packer, you'll be more caught up on each other. Side by side as well between Rick and Gary on the run through Radion, I should say. Campbell there leads the way. Cucumber there in second. Tuck within the slipstream. Now coming at him in towards Lacombe, towards the inside line. Campbell will have to try and defend this to the inside. Falcon's got a 5-place grid penalty. Campbell goes deep on the brakes. Cucumber just about manages to get the control of the car. Campbell does, but Cucumber's through and he's into the lead of the race. Actually, that now gives Campbell a chance on the run down in towards Bruxelles. Tucks the outside line, trying to fight the move, but he can't, and Cucumber leads. Campbell there in second, Killer there in third. There's more moves happening further down the field. Nathan is already up to 6th position and gets the move, I think, around the outside of Verstappen and all of that as well. Great move there from Nathan. Through and he's into 6th, side by side as well between Rocco and Gary. In fact, they're a little bit off camber into each other. Cucumber leads the way, Campbell in second, Killer there in third as Yulbream has crashed out on track. Might be an early safety car to VSC out on track. That's VSC out on track, and it is Yulbream crashing, coming through the left-hander of Malmedy. And that car is swiftly removed because there's nobody around him. And that means he is there down in 15th position, already out of the race. Do you know what? Considering how we went in qualifying, he may as well not even shown up. Cucumber leading the way, Campbell there in second, Killer there in third. Let's have a look at the early position gains actually, as we will get back underway very soon. Nathan has gained the most positions, as we mentioned. 6 positions gained for him, 4 positions gained for Wouter, 1 respectively for Cucumber, Killer and Peas. Oh, it's Cucumber very late on the brakes though, maybe having to stick to Delta time. And just a fast start of the race, we get back underway, green flag racing. There's a spinner, and that's Pack around, I believe, at the back of the field. So Pack around at the back of the field. Interval timings will hopefully fix themselves as Nathan goes for the move on slashing towards turn 1. He's actually side by side with him and actually blasts past him. Nathan, I'm not sure what setup he's on, but this Ferrari is absolutely flying. He's soon into 5th and already gaining ground on out, which is going to be filling the Ferrari boots up very nicely indeed early on. And off that restart as well, Cucumber got the lead of the race, 1.4 seconds. I've got to be honest though, that looked again like we saw in Saudi Arabia, a little bit of a tetchy restart. If I've got to be honest from Cucumber's perspective, Campbell was not on the back of him compared to Saudi Arabia and nearly coming across on him like he did last week. There's another spinner, and that is Peas round coming through Malmedy, so that might be him coming down out of the race as well. Cucumber leading the way. It just seemed to me he will have to stick to a Delta time, don't get me wrong, but the way he forcefully put on the brakes. Campbell there in second now, 1.8 seconds down. Campbell is going to be fuming. I really do think he is going to be fuming as a result of that. They may say nothing was done from Cucumber's perspective. From my perspective, and I'm calling it how it is, I think that safety car, that VSC restart could have just been a little bit better. Cucumber leads the way though. Campbell there in second, Killer there in third, out there in fourth, Russell there in fifth, Slash in sixth, Verstappen in seventh, Gary there in eighth. Have we got side by side further down the field? I believe we might. With Russell on the back of Gary, catching very quickly indeed on the back coming through Blanchemont. Gary runs out wide there slightly, could give a bit of an impetus here for the McLaren to go for the move from a mile back, but in the end Rocco runs a bit of a train. There's the other McLaren Slash going very deep into the corner through the bus stop. He's there in P6, Verstappen there in 7th, Gary there in 8th, Russell there in 9th position. As I say, that might have just been the camera angles I received. Gary certainly goes deep in towards turn number 1. Talk about going deep into the corner. Gary there in 8th position. now under pressure from Rockham. That is telling with the McLaren man and the race winner, of course, in Austria, right on the back of him. Nathan looking to try and get another scalp here early on in this race. DRS is now enabled, of course, in lap 3. Cucumber leading, Campbell in second. Killer there in third, out there in fourth. I'll tell you what, I'll go and watch that back in terms of the VSC restart, because I certainly thought it was a little bit close to comfort. Might have been okay though. Coming now through, yeah, actually no, that was fine. Yeah, I saw it differently on my end compared to what it was in the stream. So yeah, it's totally fine. It's totally fine. That was a good restart actually from Cucumber. Campbell there in second, Killer there in third, out there in fourth. Russell there in fifth, slash Verstappen, Gary, Rocco, Wout to top 10, Ghost Falcon, Rick over the top 12, so they're the point scoring finishers at this stage. As it stands, Packer there in 13th after a spin, and Pease in 14th after a spin, further down the field as well. Can I come through? Everyone just settling down into their rhythms, maybe a bit of a gap beginning to spawn further down the field. Falcon and Rick beginning to get going. 3-second penalty, 5-second penalty actually for corner cutting for Falcon. Might have to get that removed in his pit stop. But at this moment in time, Rick is on the back of him, running now through the left-hander once again of Blanche. It's not going to be close enough for the move. In fact, nobody is coming to the bus stop chicane. Everyone is just settling down, as I say, into their rhythms onto lap 4 out of 22. Cucumber leads, Campbell in second, Killer there in third. Russell again on the back of Gary, looking to try and get the job done. I think everyone's just maybe spawning into a big old DRS train. Gary a little bit too deep in towards turn 1 again. Gets the car controlled though on the exit. Gets a phenomenal run actually on the exit of the corner. And now he takes that 8th position. Russell there in 9th, still on the back of him. Bit of a slide there. There's a spinner out of turn number 1, and that's Pack Around. Pack Around coming out of turn number 1. Unfortunate for him. Getting the car back going again. Was trying to catch Gary. Gary there, the Irishman, in 8th position, doing a good job. Somebody's could have crossed the chicane there. I believe that was Slash ahead. Couldn't have crossed the chicane there in 6th, and he's now lost the gap to Nathan. Slash going a bit too deep there. It's not the first time we've seen him go deep into that corner around here in Belgium. They're just putting him on the back foot slightly, and that train split is now happening out on track, it seems, between Nathan and Slash. Again, everyone just running in a bit of a line of stern formation. 3.3 seconds the gap for Campbell. This is where, though, Campbell, the tyres will begin to come back to him. And lap 4, lap 5 into the race. He is doing a good job at this stage in the second. Managing the ERS more than what he normally does as well. Campbell doing a sterling job there in second. Cucumber, 52% of ERS as well. Campbell's exactly on the same amount, in fact. 52% for him. As the race will go on, hopefully Campbell can save that up a little bit more. Cucumber, I think, has got probably the pace just off him slightly, which is why I think he's going to just save up that ERS a little bit as well. Nathan on the back of out, coming to the final corner. Doesn't get the run that he needs to off the bus stop chicane, but he is going to look to try and get the move in towards turn number 1. Oh, my voice, as you can tell, already going, which is not that great whatsoever. I did Legacy Division last night and I was struggling then, so having to force my way through it. Nathan! Oh my word, what a recovery! Picks up a 3-second penalty. I don't give one jot. He recovered that car very neatly indeed. And that was just a catch on the little bump coming through Radion. And Nathan just about recovers the car, just about recovers himself. Luckily though, it's all pressure off for the constructors. But Nathan though, maybe a slight code brown moment there from the man in P5. That is why I'm right on board with him, just put him under a bit more pressure. I think if I was Nathan though, I'd look in to get a 3-second penalty removed, I think, there in 5th position. After that corner cut, he didn't go within the track limits, don't get me wrong, he didn't go within the track limits, but the way the car just speeded off on the right line, he couldn't really do much to control it and get back within the white lines to avoid a potential penalty. So maybe Nathan will do that, as Killer has spun coming through Campos. So Killer spins coming through Campos, running a good P3, opens everything up. Pressure now off for Campbell there in second. Out there in third. 3 seconds down the gap. So this has not really worked out from Alp's perspective. Nathan on the back as well. That slight moment, as I say, coming through Radion. That car just looks like it's going to oversteer into, obviously a central, coming to the right-hander there, or the left-hander there, Blanchimon. In the end, Nathan there on the back in 4th position. I'm just going to take a slight break from commentary, just rest my voice a little bit. I'll be back in 30 seconds. And this is the battle for third as you ride on board still. Nathan on the back of out there in third, Nathan there in 4th, doing a good job. He's not going to go for the move, I don't think, into a delay com. There's a move out of turn number 1. P's maybe a little bit squirrely there. That is Packer through and he's into 13th. And then P's there in 14th position as well. Montana's taking out, but strangely off the pace line. He is, I know he mentioned last week to me, certainly he was struggling potentially in terms of a setup around here. Peases through on Packer once again down the straight, running in towards Lacombe. Out there in third, maybe he's not running 0.004 in terms of grip axe, or whatever the cheat is out there in terms of the grip axe, but he's doing a good job there in 3rd position. Nathan there in 4th with that 3-second penalty. As I say, I think that might get removed if I was in his shoes. Cucumber though extending the lead once again. 4.8 seconds the gap. Campbell not using up much ERS, just trying to use up a little bit now. 49% of ERS coming out of Stavolo. Up there in 3rd. Nathan there in 4th. Mine gone blank for a second there. Slash in 5th. Verstappen in 6th. Gary in 7th. Rocco Knight Rider in 9th. Gilles Falcon rounding off the top 10, and it's Rick and Killer and Pease and Packer, the 14 drivers that are still going on with Yilbin, of course, out of the race, causing that early virtual safety car. And there might be another driver out the race there. Was Pease, but Pease there has recovered the car as Rocco's run on the back of Gary in towards turn number 1. Oh, and he absolutely sends it to the inside line in towards the source. Beautiful move by Rocco. That is how you pull off a well-worked move around here in Belgium. Great move there for Rocco, and he's into 7th. Very, very nice on the brakes. Gary didn't know what hit him, had one too many Guinnesses, it clearly seems. He's a spun coming out the final corner, but Gary now on the back foot. Wouter there, right there with him. 57% of EOS as well, so he's got considerably more. About 3 times as much actually as what Gary has got ahead of him. So Wouter there, trying to apply him under a bit of pressure. Already got applied under pressure by Rocco. Rocco there in 7th, in the end, got the job done. Slash again on the back of Nathan, coming through the left-hander now of Jackie X corner. Looking very neatly indeed, as he's on the back of Nathan. Nathan there doing a good job there in 4th. Slash there actually doing a good job in 5th position at this stage as well. Wouter again on the back of Gary, looking to try and get the move done somehow to try and find a way through add-on track. Of course, they're just running a bit old DRS train. Everything's a little bit boring right now. Out on track, apart from that Rocco overtake a little bit earlier on in the race. Well, yeah, what do you guys think, by the way, of F1 23 being released midweek? What are your guys' opinions on it? Just while we've got a little bit of a break there in the action out on track, what are your guys' opinions on F1 23? Because I have been advertising it across the streams in recent weeks as Rocco nearly goes too deep there on the back of Verstappen. Bit of a Cole Brown moment from him. Karen there in 7th, Gary there in 8th, and Gary now try to maybe sell the one in towards turn 1 on the back of Rocco. In the end, doesn't want to go for the move. Cucumber now, 4.8 seconds, gap is stagnant now, and that means Cucumber's tyres will begin to fall off and the crossover period will hit the hard runners. That means the hard runners will get quicker as this race will now go on, depending on when, of course, Cucumber comes into the pit lane. As Wouter on the back of Gary on the back of Rocco. They're getting close. I don't think nobody's going to go for the move here. And they don't. So predictable, these guys, sometimes. Not going for the move. Coming through now the left-hander of Lacombe. Through the right-hander now, Mulmedy at the exit. Pack a 3-second penalty further down the field. That's coming through Radion. So that is not too bad at all from his, well, it's not too great from his perspective, but that 3-second penalty. Cucumber though leading the way, Campbell in 2nd, out there in 3rd, Nathan in 4th, slash Verstappen, Rocco, Gary, Wouter, Falcon top 10, Gilbert in succession, an absolute disgust after his early DNF out of the race. He is there out of contention. But yeah, interesting. My thoughts, by the way, on F1 23, just to get the conversation rolling a little bit. Yeah, I think it's actually quite good. I mean, I'm looking forward more for the more closely integrated crossplay, as I think they've mentioned in the notes that I saw. And it does look, I've got to say, to be much more integrated. Now, I don't have a beta, so I can't really say much. But if anybody does, that'll be perfect, because I can think about potentially getting some crossplay testing organised, which we're doing. I know from a TML standpoint, we're going to be doing that on the first week of the game coming out. So we commence the 19th of June, as Peas has binned it, coming through Stavilo. No front wing. Front wing is off track, luckily. The mechanics will be able to... the stewards will be able to recover the car very neatly indeed. Wouter and Gary are side by side, running down Rally on! And Gary just about holds on. Wouter, I think, going for the audacious there. Trying to pull it off. He gets a 3-second penalty with paint as well. And now has to try and counteract on Gulls Falcon, who's now out of slipstream, looking to the inside line. Wouter's coming back at him. Williams side by side. Don't make contact with your teammates. Well, there's one thing, and there's Falcon in the wall. I shouldn't laugh. That was always going to happen. Pease is retired in the pit lane as well. That was always going to happen. Two Williams side by side. It never ends well. Coming through that part of the track. It's the second time we've seen Gulls Falcon Bennett there. Out in track. My mic is stuck. There we are. Gulls Falcon there. No front wing on the car. In there in P12. And he's got nobody really to blame for that but himself. Cucumber leading the way. Campbell there in second. Out there in third. Nathan there in fourth position. Still a little bit boring this race. The pit stops will begin to happen though relatively soonish. If I was Cucumber, I'd be deciding... Oh! Excuse me, I don't know where that yawn came from. That is how boring this race is. Just me with now yawning on the stream here. Cucumber leading the way, 5.2 seconds. Campbell not really getting any closer. It looks like Cucumber's beginning to manage this very well indeed. Campbell in terms of EOS is slightly more, about 8% more. It's not going to be enough for him to obviously gain 5 seconds unless he makes a mistake. But doing a good job at this stage. But yeah, here we go. Cucumber leading the way. Campbell there in second. That 10 out of 22. It is a little bit of a ball fest right now. Falcon is into the pit lane. No front wing damage on the car. I think he got caught in the inside curb, if I'm not mistaken. He got caught in that inside curb, then spun off. So unfortunately for him, he's down there in P12, and maybe even going to get passed by Packers sooner rather than later as well. Somebody I've just gone to, I used to go to school with, by the way, just for a little bit of news, was actually in the parade today for the coronation of King Charles, which is not too bad at all. Very nice to see. And hopefully things are going to be going very, very well as the Monarch, of course, crowned. Packers got some wing damage as well. Back to maybe a crowning moment in terms of the constructors. As it stands right now, out on track with a 16-point gap coming into tonight. Cucumber, take that down to 9. So he'll take that down to 9 points. Out on track as it stands. However, 3-second penalty for Cucumber coming out through Campos. Chat there in the comment section. Took me a little while to get that one. Nathan has stuck one out like a tattoo. Yeah, good one. Good one. Hopefully, Alf does not get May Mullard out on track. They're in third position. That was my headset, my other headset falling down, by the way. I just caught it by accident. Yeah, hopefully he doesn't get May Mullard, but Cucumber's into the pit lane. So Cucumber in the pit, realising that he has got a double warning, as Montana's just mentioned there in the chat, with that 3-second penalty, potentially going to get removed. Cucumber now is into the pit lane and will go further down the field. Chav does not like that one. Does not like that one whatsoever. Killer is going to be side by side, maybe with Cucumber coming out of the pit lane. If Cucumber gets out ahead actually behind Rick, this has worked out perfectly. However, did he cross over the white line on the exit of the pit lane? Only minimally. If I was Campbell, I'd probably report that, to be honest. It looked a little bit sketchy on the exit. It looked okay, maybe from his perspective it looked okay, but from the camera angle I had, Cucumber just looked like he grazed the white line slightly. Just saying. Just saying. Campbell leading the way, out there in second, Russell there in third, Slash there in fourth, Verstappen in fifth, Ruckle there in sixth, Gary there in seventh, Rick there in eighth, Cucumber in ninth, Killer there in 10th, Wouter, Falcon and Packer currently in the top 13. Gary as well there in 7th position, channeling his inner wild youth. So now comes through the left-hander of Puom. Comes on the back of Rocco. 6 cents per second the gap between Rocco and Gary at this stage. A little bit wide there coming through Lafania Chicane on the entrance into the Lafania Chicane. Gary coming through once again Campos, and then in towards Stavolo. He is on the back of Rocco, trying to maybe force each other into a bit of a mistake. Campbell, by the way, is going to try and continue on, I think, on this set of on this set of hard compound tyres. And he does. So he'll continue on. Campbell will continue on next for that. I think with Campbell, the thing is, from his perspective, Cucumber's going to use up a bit of battery to gain onto the back, as we have got pit stops coming in, and it's actually Rocco and Gary that are into the pit lane at this stage. 7th and 8th position out on track. With Cucumber, ideally, Campbell has got to hold for a little bit of traffic to come in his way. He's got Rick 2 seconds ahead of him, and then Rick is 2 seconds behind Verstappen. So Cucumber, within, I would say, 4 laps, that gap is going to come down between Cucumber and Verstappen, and ideally, he's going to hope for his former constructor's partner's back of his spun coming through Campos, with Rocco side by side, actually a Wouter coming out of the pit lane. Nathan has spun. Weird one from Nathan, not sure what happened there. Back into position. I know what's happened here. This is, unless that was a mistake, which I don't think it was, considering where he was out on track, I think he's let the guys through, which is getting a little bit tactical. Now, there's 2 plans that could do here with Nathan. Nathan could hold up Rick, and then hold Rick up into the back of Cucumber, but then maybe force Rick into the pit lane while doing that. Or Nathan backs up Rick into Cucumber, and Cucumber tries to get them both. That might be the other thing to do. Or actually, the third thing as well, it's actually Nathan lets Rick go, and then holds up Cucumber. That could be an initial thing. Sorry about that. My headset just clonked off my wall to the left-hand side, so apologies if you heard that. Everything is going wrong for me with my headset tonight. But Campbell leads the way. Is he coming in the pits? No. That indicates to me Nathan is going to be on Operation Overlord, trying to get Cucumber held a little bit back up. Rick's in the pits. So Rick's in the pits. That's perfect from a Rick perspective. Perfect as well from a Cucumber perspective, I think. Could get quite intense, this. Could get quite intense. I don't think Cucumber's going to be within slipstream range on the back of Nathan. He slows off enough, though, down the straight. He could maybe back him up. Droppers, though, coming out of the pit lane. Here is Slash coming out of the pit lane. He should be ahead of Wouter, I think, coming out of the pits. He is indeed. Wouter on the back there of Slash. Rocco on the back there of Verstappen. He's actually ahead of him coming out on track. And Gary's ahead of Rick coming out of the pit lane. Wouter and Slash still the next battle to happen out on track. The first real battle I think we've had all race. Closing in rather quickly on the back. He's not going to get the move done though from that far back, and Slash is going to remain in 5th, but we are going to have to cut to the action coming through Jackie X corner, and Nathan, what on earth are you doing? Oh dear. There's one way to hold up a driver, but when there's desync involved and a bit of hitbox, then it doesn't really work, and Nathan I think has realised that and is going to have to try something different. Didn't really work. And I don't really like this style of driving, to be honest, either. I mean, it's good from a viewer's perspective, from a commentator's perspective, and me being a fan of the sport, I don't think that was that good. I really don't think that was that good. But Nathan, I think, holding up Cucumber, possibly the worst possible corner to hold him up at as well. But the thing is with Nathan, he's got 68% of EOS. This is why I think he's dropped back. Maybe to have a run at Cucumber, and maybe to have him in towards someone as Campbell's into the pit lane. This is not going to work out, I don't think, for Ferrari. Cucumber's going to be miles ahead still. Nathan's going to be on the back, and unless there is an absolute miracle and Cucumber spins and then cascades into the side of Nathan, this isn't really going to work. Campbell's going to be more than 5 seconds behind coming out the pit lane. There's Cucumber. Nathan's just nearly spun out of turn, and what is he doing? I don't know. I really don't know. Campbell coming out better than this is how Ferrari have massively effed up as Alpha's into the pit lane. Campbell there in third is 6 seconds behind Nathan and 7 seconds behind Cucumber. That's the power of the undercut around this track. I don't know what Ferrari expected else to do. I really don't. Wouter on the back of Alpha though is the next interesting battle out on track. 5th and 6th position. Coming now down straight in toward Lake Common Mulmedy once again. Oh, as Alpha goes very, very deep. Wouter around the outside. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful move, and Alpha's all over the shop, and even Rocco was overtaking him. That is how cold your tyres are. Alp really struggling. I'm not sure if he's changed the setting or if there's a wheel malfunction or something is going wrong for Alp tonight. He's there in 7th. Has removed his 5-second penalty, which I think was pretty good. So he has removed that at least. And Packer has crashed coming out of turn 1. That might be a safety car, actually. It's a VSC again. VSC again. Depends where they are at on track. Might be put to a full safety car. If Packer's car goes on the right hand side, then it's only a VSC. The Packer out of the race, coming out of turn 1 at the source. Cucumber leads the way. Nathan there in 2nd, Campbell there in 3rd. Ferrari would have ideally wanted that to go full safety car. In the end, it's not. Hasn't worked out. Hasn't worked out whatsoever. And Nathan is in the pit lane to try and get a full jump, potentially, to come out mid-pack between Rocco and Alp. That is where I'm expecting him to come in. But Cucumber leads the way. Ferrari have absolutely massively misjudged this here tonight. Cucumber is now, judging by his delta, he's nearly about 10 seconds clear, I think, on this restart. Not sure if we're getting back underway now. We are! And he's 9 seconds clear! Nathan's coming out the pit lane, right in the middle of the pack, and this is the worst possible moment. Nathan certainly could have crossed the white line now on the exit of the pit lane, and Alp is side by side with him in towards Rouge and Radion. Alp on the back of him, Nathan backs off, and Nathan is back down to 7th. Alp there in 6th, and now all of a sudden this race is spawning into life as Rocco passes Wouter to the left-hand side of the track. Job done for Rocco, he's through, he's into 4th. Wouter there in 5th. McLaren's are having a very good comeback race here. Slash and Rocco were doing a fantastic job. Slight moment there from Wouter on the curb. Out there in 6th, Russell there in 7th, Nathan there doing a good job, but that VSC has royally, I know the constructors is pretty much confirmed now, but that has really messed them up, and Nathan's in the wall. Nathan in the wall, out of the race. That could be a full safety car, and it is. It's a full safety car. There's Campbell's saving grace. There is everyone's saving grace, quite frankly, because Cucumber now, set of hard compound tyres. Well, oh well, what is he going to do now? If I was in Cucumber's hands, honestly, I'd come in the pit lane and stick on a set of mediums. I really would, or a set of softs maybe. This could be genius from Cucumber if he does this. Cucumber now into the bus stop. Is he in the pits? Yes, he is. This could be genius from Cucumber. Into the pit lane. Campbell's just into the bus stop. They have to stick to their delta time. I'm imagining Cucumber's going to the softs. Red Bull compound time, I'm imagining is going to be out here for him. Into the pit lane he comes, and it looks like a set of mediums. Set of mediums on for Cucumber. And as long as he gets ahead of Slash, coming out the pit lane, which he is comfortably going to do, Cucumber has just trumped Campbell. There's your top trump. Brilliant stuff. Campbell now leading the way. Cucumber in 2nd, and that safety car, I wouldn't have thought it until I realised it. Cucumber may have now just won this race. May have now won this race. Nolan's in the chat. A Montana saying Crash Gate 2.0. No, I was on board behind Nathan there, and it looked like personally he just basically over triggered the throttle, I think, coming out of the corner. It's so easy to do coming out of Jackie Ick's corner. If that was Crashgate 2.0, then I'm sure it will be investigated by the stewards. I don't think it was. I personally think it was Nathan just getting too trigger happy on the throttle, coming out the corner, him out of the race. And he's down there in 12th position and will not be classified as well in the points because we've just gone beyond 75% race distance. I believe you only get classified if you complete 80%, I think, here in League of Europe. But Campbell leading the way, Cucumber in second, Slash there in third. What this does do, though, is bring everyone back together. It does mean everyone is on a set of medium compounded tyres. The likes of White, Verstappen, Gary, who've got penalties, done with Killer on a set of mediums, and Falcon on a set of softs. Well, if he is the real Primors, he'd be flying through the field on those set of softs. But in the end, down there in 11th position, he is going to struggle. He is really going to struggle to try and make up positions to try and get him into a winning position for the race. Remember though, with those 3-second penalties for Wouter, Verstappen and Gary, could really help out his course potentially. So who knows what might happen in the final few laps. It's Campbell though, Cucumber, Slash, top 3, Ruckle there in 4th, out there in 5th, Rick there in 6th. And then it's Wouter, Verstappen, Gary, Killer top 10. And then in 11th there's goes Falcon right down at the back of the field. Interesting comments coming through as well. Brendan McCallan, who got caught in a thunderstorm earlier on in County Donegal. Flavio sends us regards. And Montana saying fresh mediums, that was. Very sticky. Yeah, and to be fair, they're under the safety car, so they're going to be getting warmed up in terms of the tyres, which I think is good from Cucumber's perspective. Further down the field, though, White, Verstappen and Gary are going to try and struggle to make positions. Everyone is on that fresh set, or relatively fresher set, of mediums. So that means they're going to try and get to the end of the race. Falcon's continuing on at the back of the field, which means the safety car will probably be in this lap. And that means Campbell is going to control the race from the front. Now, Campbell is in. At this moment in time, with a 16-point gap, he is not doing enough to wrap up the championship here tonight. Remember as well, it's a sprint race, so there is extra points next week. But yeah, Campbell out on top, Cucumber in second, Slash there in third. Nolan saying, even if it was on purpose, it's impossible to improve it, so we move. Yeah, totally agree on that. Totally agree on that. I think given if that was more out of frustration than anything else, is what I will say from Nathan's perspective. If it was, then I think it would have been done a little bit differently compared to what it was. I think it was just, as I say, a bit of a snap. Oh! I thought for a second Campbell was going to spin coming through Bruxelles. Interesting call. Interesting call. I thought it was going to spin there. But yeah, I totally agree with that, Nolan. Totally see where you're coming from with that. And yeah, I totally agree on that. It is impossible to prove. It's probably better, I think, on PC, because PC can't really get away with things there. Cheating hacks and whatever else over there. Of course, on console, no cheaters, which I'm glad to say. There potentially is an anti-cheat coming in for F123 as well, so I've heard in the rumour mill. Apparently that could be in from game launch as well, which I think is going to be a positive step. But whether or not we see that happen is a different thing. Depends on how it looks from POV. It could be wrong anyways. Yeah, could be. Could be. You never know. Safety car that was in this lap. Campbell now the virtual Bert Malander. He's now the virtual safety car with 5 laps to go here in the Belgian Grand Prix. And now, are we going to see a title-defining moment here in Liga Group Division 1 Season number 9? Campbell out on top. Cucumber, 3-second penalty. I know for fun fact he's going to try and get that double warning removed and take it down from 3 seconds just through 2 warnings. If he oversteps the marks and get another warning though, and if he has already done that, that penalty will not be removed. So that's the thin line that Cucumber's having to work with. Campbell's thin line is having to try and somehow get away from Cucumber off the start. And already, coming now through Blanchimont, on the run toward the bus stop chicane, it'll be around about the sign here. This Pirelli sign is where we go. He's already gone now. Already goes now, and Cucumber's right there. Cucumber's right there or thereabouts, into the bus stop chicane. Oh, it's Campbell. Oh, very sticky mediums, alright. Nearly goes for a slide coming to the bus stop chicane. We're back on the way, though. Campbell leads the way. Cucumber there in second, and Cucumber feels, potentially, that Campbell has got his number. Down in towards Sun Warm White, it goes all the way around the outside on Rick. Rick's going to try and force him out the way. Nice move this by Wouter, beautiful move by Wouter, round the outside, gets the job done. Dooney's into 6th, Rocco and Slash us out by Sovereign through Blanchimont. Erosion Rally on, whatever the corner is, Rocco's on the back of Slash, but Campbell's got away for now. Rocco there in 4th on the back of Slash, trying to get the job done. McLarens do not want to make contact, in the end Slash comes across on him. And defends the position nicely, so Spooney's in 3rd. Verstappen on the back of Rick as well, coming through Lacombe, now coming through Malmedy once again. not looking too bad at all. On the exit of the corner, can't get the move done. Campbell leads, Cucumber in second, 1.3 seconds down the gap. Gap beginning to pull away, but Campbell is really under pressure now. He has got to use up every ounce of sinew, every ounce, as Verstappen has spun, coming out through Jackie Hicks. So Verstappen spins, coming out of Jackie Hicks. Gary is side by side as well. Verstappen thinks he's got no front wing and all of that as well. And Ghost Falcons beat Desynced, nearly into the wall, coming through Puon. Gary, Desynced, Ghost Falcon. Verstappen, luckily, has got out of that with no front wing damage. And Ghost Falcon goes for a spin. He nearly ended up with the front wing damage. Goodness me. Campbell leads the way though. Cucumber there in second. Slash 7th then. I'm just going to quickly mute my mic just to clear my throat, and then we'll be back in 30 seconds. Oh, there we go. Back after a clear throat. Campbell leads the way. Cucumber there in second. Lap 19 out of 22. 4 laps to go here in Belgium. Oh my word, Cucumber on the back. Has to get this move done. If the 3-second penalty wants to be removed, he has to get this job done now. Ideally, to get the race win. Brendan calling Gary a murderer in the chat. First time that Gary has been murdered or is a murderer. Guarantee you that one. Leading the way. Cucumber in second, Slash in third, and to be honest, I think Gary could murder a pint of Guinness after this, as well. Get what I did there? Yeah. Campbell leads, Cucumber second, Slash there in third, coming out through Mulmedy once again. On the exit of Mulmedy. Cucumber wide there slightly, was okay. Match there insane in the chat, Falcon's already got killed 3 times this week. Or this race even, yeah he has. So unfortunately he's down there in 11th, set us off compound tyres. He wasn't really making up much ground, I will argue that. He wasn't really making up much ground through the field. Gary though doing the unthinkable and desyncing alongside. And that might have been down to Gary leaving a little bit early on, having a bit of desync. And maybe he's desyncing the Ghost Falcon on his end. If that is, then I would report that, if that is the case. Oh, as my voice is really going towards the end of the stream. Campbell from Cucumber in second. Gonna have to try and cope with my horse throat that's suddenly coming on. Oh, hopefully that's better. Campbell, Cucumber, Slash, top 3. And now we are gonna see whether or not Campbell can back up Cucumber. Remember, Slash could actually still win this. He's there in third. He's pulling away from Rocco. And I don't think he's going to be within DRS range. Cucumber on the back of Campbell. Is he going to try in towards turn number 1? No. Not going to think about the move just yet in towards turn number 1. Maybe down in towards Lake Holm, in towards Mulmedy. That sort of section out on track. And already Cucumber's on the back of him. This looks on from the Canadian. Gets right underneath the rear wing. A little bit slow on the exit. A little bit tentative in terms of putting the DRS on. And now he's on the back foot again. Now he's on the front foot though. And look at the speed that he's carrying. 215 mile an hour down the straight. Campbell's got to stick the nose into the inside line. And there's contact between them both. Cucumber cuts across the track. Hungs onto the lead of the race. I don't know whose fault it was really there. Very close to call on that one. Side by side doesn't work. Cucumber takes across the escape road. In the end, he hasn't actually correctly gone across the escape road and hasn't gone within track limits. So that might be a penalty coming Cucumber's way. Campbell there in second, doing a good job. All he really, I think, needs to do, because I know Cucumber would have picked up a warning bar that now. Campbell in second. All he's got to do, stay on the back of him, and he's got to be winning this race. 2 lap mediums, 2 lap fresher mediums for Cucumber, really going to help towards the end of the race. But that, for me, personally, it looked like Cucumber escaped across the road. Campbell clearly cut him off, but I don't know. It was a little bit sketchy. I mean, you've got to give room on the inside as well as on the outside. Campbell was still half a car alongside, so the gap was still there to be closed off. Cucumber might have closed off on the natural race tonight. I don't know. That's a very tough one to call. But for my end, certainly, Cucumber cutting across the track limits, at least, and not taking the correct track limits, might pick up a penalty. Who knows? Who knows? I might be making it up as we go along and nothing will happen. Cucumber leads the way. Campbell in second. And Campbell now really does have to stick with Cucumber now down the hill and towards the Rouge and Radion. If he stays with him within 9 tenths, coming to the DRS detection point, which is there, He is fine. He's within DRS range, which is good. Wouter on the back of Alp, who's had an absolute shocker of a race in terms of his pace. Wouter there on the back of him, running down the straight, catching him all the time. Alp looking for the move as well, and Rocco tries to go around the outside, actually, in towards Lake Holm. Trying to find the move. Alp's tyres beginning to come alive all of a sudden. And Rocco there is really under pressure here. There's a yellow flag, and that is... who was that? Random yellow flag. Ghost Falcon, I think that might have been. Ghost Falcon. Potentially that could have been. I don't know who that was. Very confused. Random yellow flag. Cucumber leads the way. If Cucumber gets away by 3 seconds, might mean they might actually take the race when that 3-second penalty, of course, is removed. I know for a fine fact, though, if you want to try and get every position, you've got to report people. Oh, Wouter on the back of Alp still. 4th and 6th position, I should say. Out on track. Rick has done a fantastic job, actually, in this race. He's been a little bit of a goat, I think, in this race. There in 7th, looking to cha-cha-cha his way towards potentially a top 5 finish. As Alp, all of a sudden, look at him, he's been shot out of a cannon to the outside line into the bus stop. Brilliant move. Alp around the outside. Rocco has just been sold a kidney, and Alp is through and he's into 4th, and Rocco now has to try and fight back somehow. He's got Wouter to deal with him behind. This race is beginning to kick off big time. Currently the front 3 remain as they are. They look like they stay as they are as well. Potentially out on track. But Wouter on the back of Rocco is now the next battle to watch on board with. Running down the straight, running through a Rouge and Radion for the final time. Cucumber leading the way. Campbell there in 2nd, Slash in 3rd. But here comes Wouter. Rocco already knows that he's going to relinquish, and Wouter through and he's into 5th. Even before we get into Lake Holm. And Alp has also gone around the outside on Slash. Brilliant move again. Alp tearing the McLarens apart. Somehow this has just came alive. The final 2 laps of this race, Alp, it's literally like he's just flicked on a light switch. It just came to him, and Alp now is on for a podium. Believe it or not, out of this race, he's on for a podium. This is an unbelievable performance now all of a sudden from Alp. He is doing a fantastic job on this set of mediums. Cucumber leads the way. Campbell there in 2nd. Alp there in 3rd. At least I'm going to get 2 out of the top 3 right. Alp there in 3rd. Doing a stunning job. Getting both McLarens. Wouter ahead as well. And Wouter, he'd be expecting this race to go on a little bit longer, I think. Back on board with the leader, though. There is Cucumber coming out of Stavelo for the final time. Purple in the middle sector as well. Gap is 2.1 seconds. He's trying to drain all of that battery out. Right the way to the checkered flag. Slash has had a moment there coming out of Stavelo, and that's Wouter through. Wouter through, and he's into 4th. Slash's tyres really beginning to let go towards the end of the race. Rocco right on the back. Rick right on the back, coming through for Lunchemon as well. We could see a late lunch from somebody into the bus stop chicane, but in the end we don't. Cucumber to the line. Wins in Belgium. Campbell to the line, finishes in 2nd, but wins out on track because of penalties. Alp there in 3rd, Wouter there in 4th, Slash in the end gets 4th, Rocco there in 5th. The McLarens kiss each other to the line, and in the end, further down the field, the likes of Gary Verstappen coming across the line. Gulf Falcon a race to ignore. They're in 11th position, getting killed by Gary, more importantly. But Campbell out on top in the end, takes a race win. We see that could have been avoided above Gulf Falcon's end. A crash coming across the line there, but Gulf Falcon there down 11th. Drive of the day, World Driving Game fans. Yeah, Wouter, phenomenal stuff. Final 2 laps of the race, came alive, and in the end picks up a solid P4. But at this moment in time, as it stands, Campbell extends the championship lead to 23 points coming into the final week's worth of racing, the sprint and the feature, of course, in Brazil. Potentially my final race in terms of commentary as well on for F1 22 for League of Europe at least. I will be continuing on elsewhere, however. But yeah, could be one of the most, maybe even controversial, turning that way, maybe a controversial end to this championship. Who knows? Who knows? But for now, Campbell takes the race win out on track. Cucumber there in 2nd. There's the pit exit to look at, because I thought he brushed across the white line slightly, maybe just on the rim of the white line. And then, of course, that moment coming through, final couple of laps, coming through into Lake Holm. That is going to be looked at, I'm sure, from Campbell's end. That's going to be reported, but it's Campbell out on top, Cucumber there in 2nd. Alp there in 3rd, Slash there in 4th, Rocco there in 5th, solid drive from him actually, Rick there in 6th, again solid drive with Rocco, with Whiter, sorry, in 7th, Killer there in 8th, he would have been on the podium if he didn't spin, Gary there in 9th, Verstappen there in 10th, Gulls Falcon in 11th, they're the 11 that finish, getting the point I believe as well, Nathan there in 12th, might be classified in the result, if they do, Ferrari of course Constructors champions anyways after that race, Packer, Peas and Yilbury also DNFing out of the race as well. I am now going to hot foot it because 2 out of the top 3 are already in a party, I believe, from last week. So people are going to hear me very, very shortly. I'm now going to invite in and set up a party with the top 3 in. And all we have to do is invite Alpin. It's very handy that you've got 2 out of the top 3 still in. And all you've got to do is invite the man who finished in 3rd after a stunning, stunning performance on the final lap. On the final couple of laps, in fact, of that race. From Alp's perspective, as I thought my PS4 had crashed there. Goodness me. Panic moment there from my end. But we will speak to the man who's currently going to be sitting out on top in terms of the race, of course. It is Mr. Kivio Campbell. And Campbell taking that race win out on track. A little bit controversial towards the end of the race, I thought.
Well, I feel like he didn't have grounds to keep the possession, to be completely honest with you. I don't think he was ever ahead by enough to want it. But, I mean, we'll see what comes of it. But, no, the teamwork worked well between Nathan. Obviously, the crash, well, that wasn't intentional, but we did plan to hold him up more in the race. But people can make of it what they want. I'm not really fussed on what they say because Nathan was brutally honest at the time, and no, he didn't mean it. So they can cry and complain, but Nathan crashed and didn't mean it. I'm happy to win.
Yeah, I'm happy you've won as well, and you pretty much called it how actually I did in terms of commentary with that incident with Cucumber, because it looked like he could have crossed the track limits as well, and it was the incorrect track limits. I believe you've got to go off the escape road on the left hand side. Obviously he couldn't manage that. Did you feel you were actually entitled to that position? And if that wasn't the case, do you think he should have just given back the position and then have done with it?
I feel like that was what should have happened. I don't ever feel like he was ahead by enough to, be warrant going off and keeping it. I know there was contact made, but I feel like that was because he came across my front and I had to correct the car, and then my correction spat him off the track. So, look, it is what it is. I don't think it's anything really. He can keep the possession if he wants to cut corners, and we can see how that goes next week. But yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, I can tell you're happy. I can tell you're happy indeed. Up until that point, though, up until that safety car, where Nathan, of course, crashed under his own volition with that little bit of oversteer, I think, coming out of Jackie X corner. You were completely on the back foot, 7 seconds behind. That safety car must have been an absolute saving grace.
Partially. I feel it helped, but I feel like it made up for the quite frankly bullshit VSD restarts there was on for the both of them. I lost, I think, a second on both of them through trying to maintain a delta. I got very unlucky with that, which, well, you take those 2 seconds I lost off, the race looks far different. The gap becomes 5 seconds with a Cucumber's penalty. 2 seconds over the cross of a stint is nothing when you've got a tyre difference. So, no, I feel like it just made up for what went wrong in the previous restarts. So.
Yeah, and given as well, if that race result was not reversed and Cucumber kept that race win, of course the 3-second penalty might be coming off. But if that wasn't the case, it would have been, what, 2.3 seconds, I think? So, as you said, the 2 seconds absolutely makes a difference. And currently as well, you are the championship leader, or you will be, in fact, regardless of how this goes. You will be the championship leader going into the final race of the season, either with a 23-point advantage or reduced gap, I think, to 9 points. How do you feel going into the final race of the season in Brazil? Because, of course, it is a sprint and a feature.
Yeah, sprints have been a mixed bag for me this season, so I hope I can make it good. I'll look forward to it. Brazil, I always seem to have somewhat done okay at, so yeah. It's been a place of disappointment before with the old title deciders, but hopefully put that behind me and actually deliver the goods next week.
Yeah, and Ferrari as well, already happened at the Constructor standings as well, so congratulations on that perspective. I mean, Mercedes didn't even want to show up tonight, so no wonder you wrapped up the Constructor standings from tonight. But, Campbell, go and enjoy your evening.
Thank you.
You are very welcome indeed, and we will speak to the man who, of course, finished in P2, crossed the line in P1 in the end, dominated the race for quite a bit underneath the, before that safety car came out. Of course, it's Mr. NSX Cucumber. In Cucumber, first and foremost, 3-second penalty, is that going to be getting removed, and are you going to be reporting Campbell for that incident in terms of Les Combes?
I will be trying to get it removed. I actually had like a wheel fault on lap 7. I was going through Pouin and my wheel made, inside it made like a click, and when I tried to turn, it was like the force feedback was gone, so I turned way too much, and I had to unplug it, and I went to AI mode a bit. Ended up giving me a double warning because when I turned, I went over the curb like way too much because the wheel was fucked. So I had to plug it out, put it was in AI, and then so I lost like a lap, like probably a second on that lap, 8/10, and then I got another warning, but I'll be trying to get that removed. I got a double warning, so we'll see what happens. And no, I won't be reporting Campbell. Was that the lap 18?
Yeah.
Lap 19? No, I won't.
You won't. Interesting. Yeah. How did you feel that incident actually went from your perspective? Because it looked like you both didn't even give each other, I think, enough room to get through the corner safely. I think Campbell caught the inside curb. You were on the outside coming in, so the contact, I think, was really inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, it is a really tough corner. I felt like I gave room. I'll have to watch my the stream back. But yeah, I assumed when I was doing my laps, I assumed Campbell touched the inside curb, and I got a snap, and then obviously came over to me. But I felt like I gave him room. I didn't feel like I was squeezed or anything. So I'm not gonna report it, and I think it's just a bit of a racing incident, the physics with the game, I guess, with the curbs.
Yeah, all we can hope for is better physics, I think, going forward onto the next game, certainly, on F1 23. Of course, you, up until the safety car point, you were leading the race by, 7-8 seconds, I think, very comfortably indeed. Was that safety car more of a hindrance for you rather than a help?
I was quite annoyed at it. I felt like I had the pace to keep the gap over 3 seconds. I mean, I felt really fast this race. Qualifying didn't go my way. I just, I don't know, I didn't have the temp on the first sector, so I was losing out of time there. But during the race, I felt really fast. I felt like I had amazing pace, so I kind of wanted to be on the hards. I wasn't really too fond of a safety car, because again, it bunched the whole field up, but I mean, we ended up winning on track. But yeah, just kind of annoying with that penalty, and now I have to get it removed, but without the safety car, maybe I could have kept it above 3 seconds, so I wouldn't have to bother. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, and if only the Belgian Grand Prix was 23 laps instead of 22, because I think the result would have been different if it was another lap, that's for certain. And of course, you go in, I think, regardless of how that incident is going to be fared, and potential reports as well. You go into the championship behind Campbell. What is your game-breaking decision and your championship-making decisions to try and win that championship next week in Brazil?
Yeah, so it's a sprint race next week, so it means more points available, which just means we got to really execute even more. One-shot quality is going to be tough. I'm really going to have to get a front row with that. I have to. I mean, in validation or anything, it's going to be almost game over at that point. So I'm just going to have to practice. I'm just going to have to make sure I can have a lot of clean, fast laps. That's what's going to be the goal. And if it comes to it, we might have to try another wax strategy with the mediums.
It seems to have suited you well. I've got to be honest. It seems to have suited you well, certainly in terms of the last 2 weeks. Of course, winning last week, finishing P2 for now, here this week as well in Belgium. Go and enjoy your afternoon.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You are very welcome indeed, and now we will speak to the man who, for most of that race, was not looking like a podium until suddenly a light switch flicked on in his brain. It is Mr. Alp in P3, and Alp, talk us through those final couple of laps, because you were a man possessed on the final 3 laps of that race. Yeah, the McLarens really didn't make it any easier for you either. Slash and Rocker were defending like absolute crazy to try and hold you off. In the end, with two moves like that, you deserved, I think, to hang that in the Louvre, to be honest, because it was a brilliant move around the outside. But talk us through the first half of the race in terms of your strategy, because you stole on that set of hards. The hards just didn't click for you, and you seemed completely off the pace. Yeah, pretty relaxed indeed as well, with AlphaTauri, I believe, scoring points on Haas. Third for the Constructors is certainly up for grabs. Going into the final race in Brazil, what's your focus individually and what's your focus for the team? Because it might be the case where you might be the only driver for the team next week again. Interesting, which I think for Brazil will certainly be a loss, because I know you're very good around there, and hopefully you will be able to make it somehow, and maybe just try and take the championship fight, maybe to Campbell and Cucumber, spice it up a little bit. I don't know, I might be making things up as we go along. But if it is your final race of the season, congratulations on what has been, I think, a very good season from your perspective. One race win, I think, or two race wins, in fact, China and indeed in Canada. Just Canada? No, China was 27 points, though. Sprint. I'm still counting as 2 wins. Yeah, Nathan, do you know what? He'll be absolutely delighted, because if you're not going to be there next week, he's got that chance for taking P4 in the championship as well, which might just make the Ferraris a little bit more happier out on track. Alp, go and enjoy your afternoon. Oh, I think it will as well. I think it will as well. It'll be interesting. Thank you very much. Go and enjoy your afternoon. I hope to be here next season. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But that rounds off very neatly indeed for the interviews. A big thank you to Cucumber, Campbell and Alp for the top 3. Much appreciated, of course, as always. And hopefully the right decisions are made by the stewards, if there are going to be any stewards investigations, of course, after that race. Campbell, of course, before tonight's race here in Belgium, led by 16 points over... led by 18 points, in fact. Goodness me, I'm not even getting the points right. 18 points it was between Campbell and Cucumber, so the gap is either going to be 11 points or it is going to be 25 points dead on going into the final race of the season, regardless of how that penalty outcome might come. But if you want more action in 15 minutes time, it is going to be Division 2 and Division 4. Division 2, I believe, it is going to be Mr. Jekyll and Mr. Killer taking to the action. And then, of course, for the 4, it is Packer and Verstappen, I believe, taking to the action, if I'm not mistaken as well. And this time next week, we'll be getting prepared for the Eurovision Song Contest, and hopefully people will be getting May mullered next week as well. And I will leave it there. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, and next week for the season finale in Brazil, goodbye.